Alrighty, so I actually am starting to play the game again. I was going to put it away a few days ago when I was starting to look at all this stuff, and I was like, oh my god, this is just way too overwhelming. I'm not going to do a giant recap right now, but I'll do a little bit at the beginning here, just to let you know where I'm going and where I'm kind of starting from. I'm really glad I did a lot of record keeping. Like I said, I'm not doing a monster recap here. I'll try to do a little bit. So try to give you some kind of context. So it is the Russian turn. So it's the brown guys, as you can imagine. It's the January 1st to the 4th of 1915. The Germans have finished and the Austro-Hungarians did their turn. I've done all the situational analysis, if you want to call it that, and whatnot, and all the movements. I haven't made the movements on the map yet, but I do have them all for the Russian armies below. So I just finished doing the Russian 10th Army here. I'll go through a little bit of the little shorthand that I tend to use on these units, and then we'll move a little. I'll talk a little bit about the 1st Army and maybe perhaps about the 7th Army, but I have finished off what I'm going to be doing with the 10th Army, and there's going to be a whole lot of grief here with the 1st. We'll see how it goes. Like I said, I'll do a recap later on, but I will talk about a few things here. So this little green bit is basically essentially telling me that I've got some reserve units sitting here, and I've also got some reserve units sitting over here in Bialystok, and that one is Kovno. This blue line here is partially of a dedicated rail line that I'm using. Well, these are unlimited, but I'm still using up some of my rail capacity, the Russian rail capacity. And this is just an abstraction to kind of try to use, saying that there's going to be dedicated communications between the satellite areas, one near Kovno, and it's down to Brest-Litovsk, which is where which I don't think can see, down there, which is where Dmitry Danilov, the Black Danilov, I think his first name's Dmitry, he's in charge of this entire sector. Anyways, let's get to the 10th Army. What can I tell you about the 10th Army? They did see some action from the Germans. I'll talk about that in a minute. Well, here, like I said, I've got written down. So the 10th Army's got a 180 kilometer long front. Starts all the way up from here and goes all the way down to basically hugging around the Nauru, going towards Warsaw here. They've got the 2nd Corps here, the 16th Corps is here, and the 10th Army HQ is here. So I'll give a bit of shorthand. I don't know if you can really see it from that distance, but we'll see. So I try to color coordinate the corps. Each corps here, so you can see this is under this command here, the 2nd Corps. This is for 10th Army, so they would all have that. The white Alberto markers here are for the total infantry strength points. If you see anything else like a green one, that would be green 4, that would be 4 supply points. I don't see anybody else here that's got anything weird, but there would be other things. For example, like up here in the 1st Army has an artillery piece, and I also know they have some engineers, and I can also identify cavalry and whatnot. It's just a shorthand, a very quick way for me to take a look down, and then of course I've got the number identifiers here for battle group 38 or 79, so I can go and look it up in my book. For example, I can do that right now. Number 79, it's got three infantry strength points. I can find out who the hell they are. And they are the 16th Reserve Infantry Division, so they're at full strength, 3 strength points. I know that. That's what a Reserve Infantry Division has in my universe. So what am I going to do with the 10th Army here? So they did see some action here. The Germans had taken this bit here. I'm going to read it out, what I have listed here. It says, the 2nd Corps saw action with the German 11th Army, and they lost ground. The 2nd Corps' right flank is the 1st Army, as I can see here, and the 16th Corps in north of Warsaw, following along the Nauru, and they have the 2nd Army down there on the left flank. I think it's best for me, it says here, to move all my HQs away from the front, as there's no intention to mount any attacks. So this guy's going to move back. As long as I can keep 8 movement points for counterattacking purposes, for supplying a counterattack, I should be okay. So I'll move the 16th over across the Nauru here and keep them on some rail lines. Not a big fan of that. They're single track, but this is the way it goes. And that's what I'll do again. Would like to retreat further, specifically BG78 at, so where's number BG78? I would like to move him back to here, and that's also going to expose my second core HQ. Like I said, he'll move back. The problem is if I move this guy back into here, I'm now creating a gap, and that's all right in some ways. I deal with the ins and outs of enemy zones of control. It's going to cause them some grief, but they're going to start causing me a bit of a cleave, between my 10th and my 1st and 7th Army, and I'm not a big fan of that. So they did attack this position here. I was forced to retreat, and these guys over here, what were they? What else did I say? To ensure there's no gaps, and more importantly, that the Germans do not begin to cleave the 7th and 1st armies from the rest of the Russian armies. So I'm going to probably move these guys back into here, consolidate this. I'll have 7 strength points sitting here that's still being entrenched. This is a devastated area. That will eventually be a devastated area when the Germans move in on their next turn, but at least that'll cause a bit of a gap. So what I assuming is going to happen anyways with this 1st army, and I'm going to make the movements here later on, but as you can see, hopefully you can see this is monstrously precarious. The Germans were able to take 2 positions, I do believe, here and here, and that caused some monster issues here. As you can see, I'm about to lose if I don't. I'm going to abandon these positions, and this is what I'm essentially going to try to do. So I'm going to move them just a little bit, well, as much as I can, as quickly as possible. I know the Germans can't do everything they want as well, but they're certainly making some success here, and I'm a little worried. So I don't want to lose this whole bit. I'm just absolutely shocked that there's such little amount of 1st Army here. There's only 9 battle groups. It's just mind-boggling, or 9 hexes worth sitting here. My main thrust for sure is the 7th Army yet again. You can probably only just see it on the periphery, where we're gonna take Memel. The Germans did try to do a bit of a dent on us, but I've just got so much overwhelming supply and manpower and artillery here because that's what I wanted to do. I'm trying to take Memel. So I'm hopefully later on, I'm sure I'll take this. I'll take maybe not this turn, but I got a good feeling I will be able to. And we're just going to drive on home, and I'll have a hard right flank secure, which is great. And then I can start bringing in hopefully my Navy across and start securing more of the Baltic here. That'd be wonderful. And then we'll start trying to see if we can at least put the squeeze on Königsberg from up over here. The main thing is that if I can start pushing a lot here, maybe this is going to cause a little bit of easing off of the pressure here. This is what I'm hoping. And then on the flip side, I'm going to say this at the very end. Do I ever love this level of I just love this operational level. I love this game to bits. This is just so much fun. I can already see what's going to be happening later on. I'm yet again, I'm going to be giving up some ground with the Russians and whatnot, and hopefully the Germans will, like I said, ease off some pressure, specifically with my 1st Army, but I'll really start putting the squeeze with them on the 7th Army, and that should cause them to ease off here a little bit, I hope. We'll see what happens. This is freaking awesome. I'm really glad I'm starting to get back into the swing of things. I love this. All right, see you later.